Good afternoon, my people. It looks like Arsenal is going to be playing Brighton tomorrow at the Falmer Stadium, formerly known as the Amnex Stadium. The game of football is going to be played at the stadium that capacitates 30,666 people in there for you. It comes in through before Liverpool plays Man United on Sunday, meaning that Arsenal again have a chance to go on top of the Premier League table after they've gone ahead to win against Brighton. Provided they get a Brighton win, Arsenal will be really cruising on top, and all the fans of Arsenal will be focusing onto the game of Man United versus Liverpool over the weekend. A game that I really tell you, Liverpool is going to drop points at Old Trafford. The best they can get is a draw, and United is going to really come out heavily to obviously try to really win. Yesterday, Premier League games played. Man United lost to Chelsea late for 3. And the side called Liverpool went ahead to beat Sheffield by 3-1 to retain their number 1 spot. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani. Have it smash like button, comment and share. If you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And Juma Karim to the Muslims and Ramadan Karim. I think this is the last Juma Karim or the Juma Friday that is going to be really done in this holy month of Ramadan. And next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, that's when Eid is going to be made official in the mix. So, for the Christians, we cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ, and may the living true God bless you abundantly, and may Him see you move the word like no other. Now, let's get into this game of football. First and foremost, the team news. Arsenal has no injured player. Saka was a concern, but to my understanding, the manager is going to have to keep him out for some reasons. And was he asked after the game of Arsenal? Let me check here. Was he asked about Bukayo Saka? Because I don't think that Saka is out because of an injury. It looks like they just want to preserve him for the better. Do you know what they mean, preserving the player for the better? Because to it that your team can go all out and really win without that player. I think that's what Arteta really had to do. Let me check a little bit in here for you as I'm really looking for Saka. Did he talk about Saka after the game? Emily Smith-Rowe, Kai Havertz, Tomiyasu. Now, he was asked about Saka's fitness. He said he was close to being involved, but he felt something similar again to City, and it was a very short turnaround. Hopefully, he'll be available to train today and will be available for the weekend. So that's what Arteta really went ahead to say about Bukayo Saka, meaning that I think Saka is going to be available for this game. He needs to get in more minutes to prepare for the game of Bayern Munich. But even if Arsenal doesn't have him, I don't see any reason as to why they can fail to beat Brighton. They can. They have a very strong squad. Arteta went ahead to obviously rest Jakub Hevio, Declan Rice, Martinelli, Bukayo Saka. Then there was even Gabriel Jesus. So he has gone ahead to really see his players recharge to the fullest. Now, when we go to Brighton, Brighton is having Evan Ferguson is out. Solly March is having an injury. Mitoma is having a back injury. Billy Gilmore is having an injury. And Jack Hensold, this guy is from the academy, very young, talented. He can play as a right back and left back. He's also having an ankle injury. James Milner is also having a thigh concern that keeps him out. But the rest of the players are readily available. At Arsenal, the only doubt is Bukayo Saka and Julian Timber, but we all know the problem is they're not really having those injuries that are really huge, but the manager is just preserving them for the betterment of the game. Now, let's go to the predicted starting 11 of Arsenal, because I've gone ahead to change the format in which I really do this. I want to do the rest of the analysis when this team is obviously sliding onto the screen as you really see it yourself. So the system that Arsenal is going to really play, it's always a 4-3-3, not a 4-2-3-1. I'm sorry about that. The system is 4-3-3, and in goal it's going to be David Raya. No doubt about it. He's the most clean-sheeted goalkeeper. No goalkeeper in the world has gone ahead obviously coming through to create or to have more clean sheets in the Premier League than David Raya. Out of the 13 clean sheets that Arsenal have gone ahead to keep this season, David Raya has kept 11. Aaron Ramsdale has kept 2, meaning that he is going to get back into the stitches. And remember, Arsenal have got ahead to play 4 games away from home without conceding a goal. They happen to really not concede a goal against Brighton. They'll find themselves in a position of being, I think, a first team to obviously go 5 games away without conceding a goal. That is David Raya for you in between the stitches. On the right back, I still insist. However much last time on Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday, Arsenal came up and did the needful and really brought in Benjamin White to play. With the game of Bayern Munich around the corner, I think Tomiyasu is going to start as the right back. I think one of these games Tomiyasu is going to come in through to play as the right back, and I think it serves a better purpose for the manager. Getting Tomiyasu to start as the right back as Arsenal takes on Brighton. Then Benjamin White comes off the bench to really get in some minutes, like 30, and then he really refreshes for the side of Bayern Munich on Tuesday at the Emirates. But remember, Tomiyasu came in through and played, I think, some 30 minutes as Arsenal was hustling it out to Luton Town, meaning that he was being prepared to come out and really play into this game of football. But if at all I say to it that Benjamin White comes in through and starts, that means the manager is not yet sure onto whether Tomiyasu can go an hour mark minutes of play onto the pitch. That is it. So after that, we go to the left back. I think Jakub Kiwior is going to retain his position. Zinchenko had a very good goal when they're playing against Luton Town, but I told you Zinchenko had everything to do in that game. But he sort of hit that every time they reached at him. Defensively, he's really very, very deficient. And that's the hugest worry that you'll ever get from Zinchenko. But the rest of the things, inverting the midfield, he does it very, very well. But trust me, these games are for Jakub Kiwior because the manager wants it solid at the back. Arsenal has proven that they can keep the clean, they can score goals, meaning that all they have to do is keep it tight at the back and keep that brick wall tight. You understand? So that is Jakub Kiwior. I think he returns. He was rested and he never kicked a ball into that game, meaning that the manager has all what it takes to obviously get him into this beautiful game of football that is going to be played at the Falmer Stadium down in the Midlands. Now, we go to the central defense, unchanged. Right-sided centre-back, William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes. They've proven that they can go that far. They've gone ahead to play very many games together. They've kept very many clean sheets together. And for William Saliba, he hasn't missed out to start on any Premier League game. And Gabriel Magalhaes missed out on a couple of the games at the beginning of the season, but ever since he returned, he has been playing game in, game out, and 90 minutes are what he's serving to the side of Arsenal. That is the back 5 of Arsenal that I believe Arteta is going to come up to obviously face the side of Brighton in the mix. And remember, Brighton are having João Pedro and Danny Welbeck as their centre forwards, but I think these side of Arsenal is really going to be able to obviously consolidate those forwards in there. We go to the midfield. I think some huge changes are going to be made in the midfield. Remember, Emily Smith-Rowe started, Thomas Partey started, and Odegaard. And the big question is going to be on Emily Smith-Rowe on whether he gets back into the starting 11 of the Arsenal side. I tell you, this game is more serious than the game of Brighton, and I believe the midfield 3 of Arsenal is going to stand as follows. 1, CDM, Declan Rice. He was rested and he played some 20 minutes in that game. That means he's going to start this game of football and is going to hit to recharge his batteries. Declan Rice is going to come in through to obviously retain his position as a CDM into this fixture of Arsenal versus Brighton. That is it, because you need him around. Now, who else is going to come in through to play into the midfield? I think Martin Odegaard scoring a goal, obviously taking his tally to 7 and some 6 assists this season. I really believe he can really equal next season. Sorry, last season his goals, 15. I know he can score 15 because when you look at the set of games Arsenal he left with, he can score almost in 6 of those, and he can really get 8 goals. He's just 8 goals short from clinching the figure he really scored last season. That is Martin Odegaard for you. And the beauty of Martin Odegaard is when he starts scoring, doesn't stop. He can go like 3-4 consecutive games scoring, and he's one of those players I really fancy to score against Brighton over the weekend. That is Martin Odegaard. And in the midfield again, I think Kai Havertz is going to be dropped in the midfield. That is it. To obviously come on through and really conquer that midfield of Brighton, because the midfield of Brighton is not all that threatful. If at all you're going to hate to watch it, when they're playing against Brentford, they had who did they have in the midfield? They had Baleba and Grob in the midfield. That is the double pivot, and Lallana playing ahead of them. So I don't feel that midfield can obviously come in through and really outshine the side of Arsenal. All they have to do is, it's going to be an open game. It's going to be an open game. So I believe Arteta is going to go back to his ideal midfield three: Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, and Martin Odegaard. That's my thought. That's my thought about what Arteta is going to be doing tomorrow when Arsenal is taking on the side of Brighton. That is it. Then we go to the forwards. I'm of the thought that there is no reason to keep Bukayo Saka out of this game of football, and I'm all eyes that Saka is going to come up and really play as a right forward. He needs to get in some minutes for the game of Bayern Munich. I know he's being kept in there for you because he's being wanted to come in through take center stage at the game of Brighton. Sorry, at the game of Bayern Munich, and he needs some minutes. If he doesn't start, he'll come off the bench. But I know he's going to be part of the squad that is going to be traveling to the side of Brighton. Having gone ahead to be rested for a week, I think he's going to be ready to obviously tussle it out with this Brighton side. When we go to the left forward, I think Gabriel Martinelli comes into the starting position. He gets in his minutes to start. I know that this guy, what's his name? Trossard went ahead to obviously play part into that game. But I know it's all going to be about this guy to come in through and really take center stage. That is none other than Martinelli. Who is going to lead the line? I think it's going to be Gabriel Jesus to lead the line, because I think when they're playing Bayern Munich, Arteta is really going to try to see to it that he finds means of really getting Gabriel Jesus a goal. And Gabriel Jesus was rested and never kicked a ball in the game of Brighton. You can't tell me that for 2 consecutive games he's going to really start off the bench. I think he started against Man City. He got rested to reserve that knee. And now this is the game for him to come in through and really charge, because looks like he's sharp and all he's left for is to put that ball at the back of the net. So that is my probable starting 11 for the side of Arsenal as they take on Brighton. You can as well go into the comment section and tell me what your thoughts are. But for Brighton, it's a side that is going to come up with an open game. Don't expect Brighton to come up and don't really play an open game. That's why I tell you that this is going to be a goal galore. Brighton is going to come up and really play an open game. Their central defense, Dunk, Van Eyck, Veltman and Eagle cannot really stop Arsenal from scoring, because they are going to play a very open game. They are a porous side that's going to hit to concede very many goals, and the manager is going to hit to talk about the injuries they're really having. And trust me, has all what it takes to obviously come in through and complain about injuries. But Arsenal has to look at the following players. Adingra, very good player, and he's really a swift player, and his software is really very nice. He has a very good skill set, and he plays off the left attacking side of the midfield, meaning that it's going to be Benjamin White or Tomiyasu facing him. Then Bonate, is it called Bonote? The name is really hard to pronounce, but he wears shirt number 40 for Brighton. He's really another one to watch out for. Then Pedro. Those 3 players plus Danny Welbeck are really the ones that Arsenal should obviously watch out for. And it's going to be an open game. These are the games that Arteta would like to enjoy. Arsenal is going to come up and really create its chances, and whoever defends better will win the game. All these sides will have to score goals. Arsenal has a better defense, though, that can really stop Brighton from really scoring. Remember, in the midweek, they played against Brentford. They had 24 shots at the goal of Brentford, but they couldn't obviously clinch any chance to obviously grant themselves a goal and get a lead in that game. The game ended 0-0, meaning that they're going to face a side that is good at scoring, and Arsenal can even go ahead and really shame them and give them a beating to pulps. They can do that. That is the side of Arsenal. So all we are waiting to see is how Arsenal really going to come up and really feature into this. Let's go to the head-to-head stats. After them, you know what happens. I come up and I really tell you my prediction. The head-to-head stats are as follows. Having won 2 of their last 3 Premier League home games against Arsenal, 1 draw, Brighton have now lost 2 of their last 3 against them at the Amex Stadium. By the way, Arsenal last season went ahead to beat Brighton 4-2 at the stadium, where Arsenal is going to be playing tomorrow. So, and Brighton went ahead, obviously beat Arsenal at home. Looks like it's very easy for Arsenal to really get a result there. But this season, Arsenal went ahead to beat Brighton 2-0 at the Emirates Stadium, and they happened to come here to obviously give them a beating that they really deserve. And secondly, Arsenal are looking to complete Premier League double over Brighton for the second time, previously doing so in 2020-2021 campaign. By the way, for the previous campaigns, 2021-2022, Brighton beat Arsenal, at Emirates. 2022-2023, Arsenal got beaten at Emirates 3-0. So this time round, Arsenal wants to complete a double over Brighton for the second time, because they first did that in the campaign of 2020-2021. Now, thirdly, since losing 3-1 to West Ham in August, Brighton are unbeaten in their last 12 home Premier League matches. 6 wins and 6 draws, their longest unbeaten run at Amex in the competition. So this should worry every Arsenal fan that is thinking of an easy go at the stadium of Falmer Stadium there, because this is going to be really a huge game. Team has not going to have to be beaten in 12 games at home. So Arsenal needs to obviously go ahead knowing it that they are facing a side that has gone ahead not to be beaten for the longest period of time possible, and they need to factor out the best tactics to obviously kill off this game of football. But Arsenal is really Arsenal. They can really kill off this one in the nick of time. So when we go to the last 2 head-to-head stats that you need to know, Arsenal have kept a clean sheet in each of their last 4 away Premier League matches. Only once in their league history have they kept 5 in a row, doing so between February and April in 1997. So I've already gone ahead to hint about this, that Arsenal have gone ahead to keep 4 clean sheets away from home. West Ham, Burnley, Sheffield and Man City, and they come to play against Brighton. Would they keep a clean sheet? Obviously they can, because they are a side that's going to have to master the art of really defending. And I've always told you, clean sheets win trophies and goals win matches. The more Arsenal continue to keep those clean sheets in these remaining games, the more Arsenal will put themselves in a better position to obviously get themselves going, because they'll be getting the best of the best. Now, 5. Brighton have won just 3 of their 18 Premier League games, kicking off at 7:30 on Saturday. 7 draws and 8 losses. However, one of those wins did come in their most recent such fixture, beating Newcastle 3-1 in September last year. Meanwhile, 3 of Arsenal's last 4 away games, Meanwhile, 3 of Arsenal's last 4 away Premier League defeats have come in games kicking off at 17:30 on a Saturday. So Arsenal has gone ahead to lose out on very many games when they start on 7:30 on Saturday. So it really gives them a go to come out and obviously give in the required effort as a side of Arsenal, and we are here to see to it that everything really goes on as to plan. So after that, I now have the right to come out and really tell you my prediction. Not so? Arsenal 3, Brighton 1. That is my prediction. My prediction is Arsenal 3, Brighton 1. I think Arsenal is going to win that game of football, but keeping a clean sheet is going to be a little bit hard for Arsenal. But they need to really put out a very good side, as I've gone ahead to put in that team, because I know it can really kill off the side of Brighton as soon as possible. And Kai Havertz scored against them at the Emirates, you remember very well. And I think it was Martinelli and Kai Havertz who obviously scored against them. So it can turn out to be one of those games that Arsenal can really kill off early. And if I told you Arteta, you'd love to see to it that your team kills off this game early enough, because you want not to use a lot of energy as you prepare to take on Bayern Munich in the midweek. Champions League is knocking on the door, and you know what really happens when Champions League is knocking on the door. A lot comes to pass. So that's what Arteta will want his team to do: get fast goals, kill off this game early enough, and I'm smelling a battering at the Falmer Stadium. I feel like Arsenal can even take it to 5 or 6. You know, it's going to be one of those games that Brighton is going to come out to open up, and Arsenal is going to be like, the goals we score are going to depend on how clinical we are going to be. You know, we can defend against Brighton. That's what Arteta will be saying. But how clinical are we going to be? How are we going to use our chances? That is it. And the bench is going to be really very, 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 very fat when you look at the bench and the team I've going to hate to name. That means you'll be having Zinchenko on the bench, Benjamin White on the bench, Thomas Partey on the bench, Emily Smith-Rowe on the bench, Reece Nelson on the bench. Who else on the bench? You know, Nketiah on the bench, Trossard on the bench, and it shows you exactly that Arsenal is really gonna have a very good goal into that game. So even the bench will be very fatty, and the manager will be having lots of options to come out and really do into that fixture. So Trossard is returning to his former stadium for the very first time ever since he left last year. Remember, before he left, Arsenal had already beaten them in December, I think 4-2. You know, then later he found himself in a position of coming in through to really play against them, and they lost by 3-0 at the Emirates. But when they returned to play against them at the Emirates this season, Arsenal went ahead to beat them by 2-0, and Trossard is really a happy man. So guys, your predictions are welcome in the comment section below. Mikel Arteta is coming in through the press conference. I don't know what you guys think about it. When he's done, I'm going to come out here in the next 3 hours and really give you the facts that Arteta is going to have to address into that game of football. But Saka returns and Martinelli starts. May the living to God bless you abundantly. The Muslims, Juma Karim, and to the Christians, we cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. Rokani David remains my name. Continue to subscribe to this channel like no other. Guys, have the best of a Friday. We've gone ahead to put out our first video, and more is yet to come. Ciao, ciao.